So what can you tell me about the band? It has something to do with the band, White Zombie,
Oh,
right?
sure, yeah. Well, yeah, the band is probably the greatest tribute to this movie in the world of music. The band White Zombie was really progressive. Like they were always changing their sound. Like if you listen to early White Zombie from the
Well,
'80s,
just a question.
they sound
This
like
is definitely where. That's exactly where it came from, right? It came from this
exactly.
movie.
Yeah, exactly. And what
Okay.
I think is a really interesting point is like, first of all the stuff that they did, like they did the garage stuff, which was like noisy, experimental kind of rock music, and then through the '90s they developed a more polished industrial metal sound, with like lots of electric sounds and synthesizers. Um, so the music is always some kind of like crazy acid trip to listen to, and it definitely puts you into that mind-altering zombified state. So they played this, a big part in that genre of metal music. So even though they didn't explicitly reference the movie that often,
Only a pinpoint,
So he's trying to drug him now, by the way?
or perhaps.
yeah, he already did.
Oh, he already got him with
So
it?
he's saying that line back to him. He put the drug in
Right.
his wine.
So now he's realizing that he just did. Okay.
Exactly. So he's going to start turning into a zombie. So basically, the band White Zombie references the movie sometimes. Like if you look at the inner sleeves on the CDs to La Sexorcisto or Astro Creep, you can see images from White Zombie. But now keep in mind, Rob Zombie wasn't using that as his stage name when he started the band. Originally, he was using the name Rob Straker. So the White Zombie reference wasn't connected to his name in any way. It was just the name of the band. But it could have been named anything, and that's what intrigues me is that he references so many movies.
He also
in his
he also
lyrics.
does Phantom Creeps, right? On
Yeah.
stage with the robot from Phantom Creeps.
That's right. So he finds all these obscure things like lines of dialogues and quotes from posters, So out of all the things he references, it happens, the name of the band is White Zombie. So I think that really says a lot to the movie. So now all the zombies are coming to attack him. I guess he's like frozen now by Lugosi's stare. So they're carrying him off, and there's like a flub that everybody talks about where he holds his nose when they throw him in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I've always kind of questioned that. Like, is it really a flub? Or, if you're being thrown in water, wouldn't you hold your nose?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. But I guess the point is, I guess he's not supposed to be able to move. But whatever the case, it's regarded as a goof, and you're about to see it in about 10 seconds. And there it goes. So yeah, what do you think?
Was he supposed to be passed out there?
He was like frozen.
He was frozen. Well, if he's frozen, then he's not supposed to be holding his nose.
So I think that's what
So-
people are getting at.
Yeah, maybe.
To the future, monsieur.
Oh, that damn bird. Listen to that. You should record that and just like have it with you on a recorder. If you ever want to piss somebody off, just like play it really loud. Because that's the most annoying fucking sound I've ever heard in my life.
Imagine if that bird came to your window when you're trying to sleep.
Not that.
That's like worse than like if a garbage truck was passing by at 2 a.m. Like that's the worst thing I could ever hear.
We ought to be picking up an old witch doctor around here pretty soon. His name is Pierre.
The witch doctor's name is
An
Pierre.
old fella.
Like, couldn't they come up with a better name? Like in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the wizard named Tim. There are some who call me Tim.
And those guys were in white as well. Even the horses were white.
Yeah.
Like what is the deal with this like movie and like the contrast between like everything's dark and then somebody's wearing all white? Like look at these people. They don't have like any like black on them. They're all in white. The horses are white.
Yeah.
I will give you an award.
I'll give you a what?
He goes, I will give you. That's what I heard anyway. Maybe that's a good example of why the audio needs to be a little better.
Yeah. There's a few missing bits in here, like a few jump cuts because, you know, you got to get the real DVD, the Rerun DVD.
I have no idea what's going on right now in this part of the movie. They're like, these people who aren't Lugosi on a bunch of horses in the middle of like a field.
Like in Ed Wood when she says, White Zombie, starring Bela Lugosi, and a bunch of other people I never heard
Yeah,
of.
exactly.
When Vampira is hosting
Like
it
this
on
person
her,
here on the horse. I don't know what this person's saying.
This is this witch doctor, and I think he's the only one who came out of a zombie, like a zombified state. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's basically going to tell them about. Well, he's telling them right
What
now
it's like
about.
to be a zombie or something.
I don't think not so much as just telling them like about Bela Lugosi. Like he's actually going to say his name soon.
Called the Land of the Living Dead.
Living Dead
Living
again.
Dead. There you go.
Have you ever
And
been
pretty
there?
soon he's going to say his name. I
I
think.
am the only man that ever came from there.
Yeah, right about now.
There is an evil spirit man that is called murder.
Murder.
Come.
They never say murder Legendre, but they say murder.
Is that the only time in the movie they say it?
Yep.
And you can barely even make it out. You'd have to really be paying
Yeah.
attention to hear that.
It's no wonder it took me like 6 times to hear that. See, that's a glass shot there. They're at Bronson Cave here. Bronson Cave, if you look it up, you'll just be overwhelmed by all the, movies it's been in. Like, seriously, look up Bronson Cave on Wikipedia. And
The most famous being the 60s Batman.
Yeah, it was
That's
the
where
Batcave.
was.
Oh, boy. You know what's coming up?
Uh-oh. Not that.
It's horrible.
Oh.
Imagine if that was your alarm in the morning.
Well, you definitely get up if you needed to get up for work. Somebody should make that into an alarm. There should be a bird alarm clock that looks just like that. And like you'd have to like hit the head or hit the beak to turn it off, you know? And it would make that noise.
The living dead.
Oh my God.
Madeline.
Actually, never mind. I would not want that. Who the fuck wants to be waking up every morning by that noise?
Please, my boy. Please, lie down.
There was a cartoon, like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. I think it was Birdman, or it might have been the Blue Falcon or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And there was like a bird character that sounded just like that. I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but I think it was Birdman or something. And it made the same kind of noise. It's like, shut the fuck up.
You know, I know that Grandpa Munster used this as a background one time when he was green screening.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
So they mentioned in that book a lot too, that this is like a fairy tale, and it does kind of have a fairy tale, like fantasy feel to it. Like, you know, fairy tales are always timeless. Like you can't tell exactly when they take place, and with, you know, Lugosi as the villain casting an evil spell on someone, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does seem has that atmosphere of a fairy tale, definitely. I mean, where would you see a castle like that in real life? Nowhere, you know.
Doing wipes on 16mm film. Do you remember that?
That is
in college?
that is a hell of an interesting wipe.
Yeah. Did you have to do that in your?
I never did wipe on film. No, I never did that.
Well, Mike and I both. Mike was in animation classes, and I was in film classes.
I did do film stuff, but I didn't do wipes. No.
You know, it's a hell of a lot more complicated than, you know, doing a wipe in Final Cut Pro or, you know, on any nonlinear editing software. We're talking about doing real wipes, like on real film cameras, and doing them in camera. You would actually film the shot, then you would actually wind the film back, and you would also have part of the lens masked off, and then you would mask the other part of the lens, and you would film it again, and that's how you would get 2 shots. So you'd actually be exposing the film twice. And let me tell you, it's a pain in the ass.
Is this from a VHS tape too, by the way? Because
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
saw the lines going up.
It might be. I don't know. It's like you'll just find like crappy copies of this movie.
I have when I came over today, I brought over a couple of VHS tapes because I just wanted to, I didn't know what James would have, and I brought over this one that says movie favorites or something, some old VHS tape, and I have another one here. And on the back, what's cool about this one is it's just a tape of old VHS crappy tape of White Zombie. But what I do like about it is it says available from the same company or whatever, and then it lists all these other like Bela Lugosi movies. Now, if you remember back in the 80s, like there was no internet back then, and
yeah.
this tape is from the 80s. So that would have been like really exciting back in the
Yeah.
80s because
That's where you learn it from.
There would have been no way to look it up. You couldn't like type into IMDb or Wikipedia like, okay, what other movies was Bela Lugosi in? So like back in the day, to have a list of all like Lugosi's movies like would have been really exciting. It means nothing now, of course. But back then it was pretty cool. I just want to ask James, since we have a second here, if he knows some of these movies.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Black Dragons with Lugosi?
I have it. I don't think I've watched it before though.
What about have you ever seen the
There's
corpse?
the castle.
The Corpse Vanishes.
No, that's with Lugosi too, right?
Yeah. How about The Gorilla?
The Gorilla.
Yeah, with Bela
There's
Lugosi.
so many gorilla movies. I like confuse them all. Actually, really quick, I don't
Okay.
think I'll get a chance again, but I want to talk about the idea of a remake of White Zombie. Is that with the huge surge of recent zombie movies, you think that studios would have been jumping at the chance to remake White Zombie. Now, I was under the impression before that it's never been remade, but supposedly it was once. In 2009, there was a short film, a student film. It was like 37 minutes. The only reference I found was a link on IMDb, and through there I found it does have a website, and it's played in festivals, so it may not have been a major studio release, but yes, White Zombie has been remade in some way. Now, number 2, supposedly there was going to be another remake directed by Tobe Hooper, like a full, theatrical feature film. And this has been going on for years, supposedly, but the latest word is that the remake is not happening because of legal issues. And the screenwriter supposedly said, the movie is clearly public domain, but there were question marks about uncredited source material. Now, what the hell does that mean? Like, it makes you wonder, if they're able to remake all these movies that they remake nowadays, why can't they remake a public domain horror film from 1932?
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. And if, you don't mind me suggesting, I think that this is one horror movie that they could remake it. Because if they remade it, it would definitely be different. It wouldn't be like, this will always be this, White Zombie to me. But it's when they remake horror movies from 20 years ago, it's so pointless. But here we have one from the 30s that's totally open for like a new interpretation.
What they really need to remake is like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, or like Frankenstein, one of those type of things, because they haven't done that in such a. Or I'm sorry, I mean, like they need to make a Dracula versus the Wolfman is what I meant to say, or one of those, because you have that script for one of them, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for them to make.
Like, it's just weird that, like, I wish that they weren't allowed to remake Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th. But
it's
no,
too
all
soon.
those are like, yeah. But no, that they're able to remake all that.
At least wait until Robert Englund is like dead before you like Lugosi's dead, so go ahead, remake White Zombie, because obviously you're not going to be able to get Lugosi.
No. Now, coming up, I'm curious about this glass shot. Like, I don't know what, I'm assuming the windows and like the top of the frame are all the glass, but if you look right, he's touching that pillar right up there at the upper left.
Yeah.
So the pillar must have been
glass
real.
does not look like a glass painting. It doesn't look like a painting to me. It looks real.
Yeah, it looks like they got like a cathedral or something. But I mean, they did wonders back in the 30s with glass paintings. Like, people were just really talented.
The outside.
Now, he fainted there.
Yeah.
Like, this is where the movie gets weird. He's going in to save the girl, and then he gets sleepy and like just faints. Like, like why did he just faint?
Did Lugosi poison him?
No, he didn't even know he was in the the building. He was just. So,
He was, I think, because he was looking over that rail and he got scared because it was so high up.
So now he's looking at us. He's not looking at Neil. Neil is down below him. Lugosi looked up from the character and looks at us, and now he's doing this.
I think because this is in the 30s, and I think this is part of the movie that's just supposed to creep out the audience.
Yeah. So he's staring at us. Or nothing. He could just be staring into thin air.
That's actually a really good idea. Imagine if you're seeing Nightmare on Elm Street today, and in the middle of the movie, like it stops and Freddy just starts looking at the audience. That'd be kind of cool, actually. That'd be something different.
People would find it confusing today, but now, okay, so I guess he's doing a spell on her because it just faded from his eyes to Madeline. But Neil is still just passed out, laying there. So I don't think he's doing anything to Neil. So let's just try to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
She's clearly.
Well, he passed out for some reason, which we don't know, up by the stairs.
Yeah, and now Lugosi's done with him.
Lugosi, I guess, has control over her right now, mentally. I assume that's what's going on. I like how the door closes by itself, too.
This is a pretty cool stairwell with the shadows. Okay, here we are at the big glass shot again, or whatever it is. Okay, so he's still sleeping. But, and notice how the shape that she's inside is the same shape that's on her...
it's like a 4-leaf clover.
Yeah, like that clover shape on her dress.
Maybe part of the movie was cut. And we missed what happened to that guy.
That's
sleeping on the
very
bench.
possible, because I think there still are parts of this movie that are lost in time.
Yeah. He needs to get glasses.
Yeah, I feel like I need glasses to look at that. Now Lugosi's just looking at the table. Okay, she's reaching out to him, and he's going into a zombie state. Okay, Lugosi likes this idea. She's got a knife. Okay, I think what he's supposed to be doing, he wants her to kill Neil.
Okay.
So she's got the knife, and I guess he's making her go up the steps, and she's gonna, to stab him.
Lugosi wants him to see that she's gonna stab him, I guess. But he's
he's like, watch this. He's trying to say no.
Everybody in this place is drugged.
Now, why does Lugosi make her kill him? Why couldn't he just do it himself? She's fighting it, but now Dr. Brunner grabs her by the hand. That's all he needed to do to break Lugosi's power.
You don't even see him. All I saw was a hand come out of nowhere.
It's like it could have been anybody.
How do you know it's Dr. Brunner? All I saw was a hand fly out.
I've actually watched this scene over and over to try and figure it out. I'm pretty sure it's Dr. Brunner.
Okay.
But now Lugosi, you can see his power is lost. And now Neil's waking up.
Okay.
But all he did was grab her by
Even Lugosi looks like he doesn't know what's going on. You see that expression he made? He's like...
Yeah. And now he doesn't even do anything to stop her. She just runs by, and Lugosi's just standing there. Don't you think he would do something right now? He just lets them both run by. Okay, so now she's outside.
He let him run by because right there Lugosi was thinking to himself, how much am I getting paid to do this?
And that's true. Supposedly he didn't get paid very much either.
Oh, really? He never did.
A lot of times
he
he got
the shaft.
Yeah. It's okay. So for no apparent reason, she's going to go off, the side.
She's going to jump willingly herself into?
I guess it didn't look like Lugosi had any part. Well,
here he is.
Yeah,
she looked like she was just about to jump right in there.
All right, so now Lugosi's watching him. Still not doing anything about it.
And why isn't he saying anything to Lugosi right now? Or to Murder, I should say. Why isn't he saying anything? Why are you fucking watching us right now? Go inside. That's what I'd be saying.
Here he goes, just clenching his fist again.
Nobody asks questions in these movies. If I was this dude right now, I'd be like...
He
what-
actually does ask a question coming up.
does?
So
Okay,
check
okay.
in about 5 seconds. He's going to say something.
Who are you?
It's about time somebody asked that.
And what are they? For you, my friend, they are the angels of death.
Well, you didn't answer his first question. Like, that would have been a perfect time for him to say, I am Murder Legendre, but no, we don't even get that. And that's a pathetic bullet wound.
Yeah, no blood.
Oh, and there's no explanation why the zombies can't be killed. Because remember, they're not dead. They're not like the Romero zombies. They're actually living people in a trance. So why did his... We'll just say it's Lugosi's power.
Okay. Oh, there he is.
Like, and that's it? He just hits him over the head?
He did the Captain Kirk, like, karate chop to the neck.
Okay, so now they're after Neil, and Neil like ducks down. And I guess just because Lugosi hit his head, now all the zombies are going off the cliff.
Well, Lugosi's passed out, so they don't have any mind control anymore, so they don't know where to go, I guess. So they just go off the cliff. That's my guess.
It's such an odd pace, just a weird
I mean,
chain
who
of
knows,
events.
really?
Like, I feel like there's something I'm missing, or that I'm like, I feel like drunk when I'm watching the scene. Like, whoa, like what the hell is going on? I'm so disoriented.
There's a lot of guesswork, like, oh, I wonder if this is going on. I wonder.
Yeah. I guess any any analysis of this is just like
Futile.
giving it a little too much credit. I guess it's just what it is, I suppose. But okay, now it's pretty clear she's come out of the zombified stage. So now he's gonna throw him over the cliff. Now watch
Oh,
this
no.
fall here. Ah! I'll tell you one thing, it's better than Walker's fall in Ninja Turtles 3.
You know in the Nintendo game when the turtles like
See, even in the 30s they could make a guy fall.
in the Nintendo game when the turtle falls off of the dam to go into the water stage,
Uh-huh.
there was even a splash in the
Yeah.
Nintendo game. Why couldn't there have been in the
Yeah,
you know?
Ninja Turtles 3, Walker falls and he literally just disappears. He like implodes into himself.
They couldn't even make a splash.
They couldn't have a splash.
Just cut away and have a sound effect.
The 1930s, 1932, we can actually show a guy fall. A dummy, but still, it worked. It got the point across.
I dream.
Now take one guess what Dr. Bruner's going to say.
Excuse me, please. Have you got a match?
Oh, of course.
I don't get it. Like, was it like...
Well, he's been smoking the whole movie, so he just wants to match because he's gonna have another smoke. Might as well before the movie ends.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for watching White Zombie with us.